Hey, Taebyn, you remember that AD episode from a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah, with even with all that drinking, I felt freaking great the next day. No hangover, nothing. And you know why?
I mean, I have no idea what those things are, but I do want to know why.
Well, because I took Broad electrolyte vitamins. They're like super Gatorade in a vitamin. Anyway, I felt so great the next day that I emailed them and I said to them, "Hey man, great product." And you know what? The CEO emails me back to say, "Thanks.
Oh, nice.
Love to hear from fans. What are you guys up to?" And bam, just like that, Broad electrolyte vitamins becomes a supporter of this show.
Wow.
I know.
That's pretty great. Thank you, Broad.
Thank you, Broad. I mean, who likes being hungover or dehydrated? So guess what? We've got a special deal for all our listeners. Go to Broad Electrolyte Vitamins website at broad.co. That's BRODE.co. There's no M. And use the code BFFT at checkout to get 25% off your order with no limit to your order size. The more you order, the more you save. And on top of that, Broad will donate 25% of the proceeds from every order using the code BFFT back to the show to help support its production. So it's a win-win-win for everyone.
That's awesome.
So that's Broad, BRODE.co.
It really is. I mean, Broad gets stuff. We get things. You Furs get things. It's kind of great.
And remember, that's BRODE.co. and code BFFT at checkout. Hangovers are the worst, and this stuff is the best. So go to broad.co and use code BFFT. Well, gentlemen, thanks for coming on the show. I want to tell you, a while back when the pandemic started, I tried to make a joke about it, but no one laughed. Eventually, most people got it. And I had to zip up to Canby today, so I hopped on my motorcycle and ran up the freeway, and there was a semi-truck overturned that was carrying Vicks Vapor Rub. Surprisingly, there was no congestion.
Oh.
This is Barely Furcasting, featuring Taebyn and Injured Nerves audio production. Oh, well, hello, greetings, salutations, hello, and Mubark Fluff. I am Barely Normal, your host with the most, and with me today is TickTock and Rayne, sitting in for Taebyn, because Taebyn last minute said, I can't make the recording session. So I was like, what do I do? And so I asked these two fine furs if they would sit in for Taebyn. I also invited Misha to come in again, but he was very busy today.
Yeah, he is a busy fur.
He come in. He is a busy fur. So, how are you guys?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good?
I've been busier than a furry in a fluffer napple contest.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you added something to the end of that.
Yes. So, did you guys have a good Independence Day, which is the official holiday name for 4th of July? Everybody calls it 4th of July, but why are we just celebrating a calendar day?
It is still
It's
4th of July.
Independence Day. It is, but it's Independence.
True.
We don't say I celebrated December 25th. I celebrated Christmas.
I guess so.
Or
Easter.
Easter.
Maybe I'll start doing that from now on.
Yeah, every holiday is just the date.
Date, right? Yeah,
just the date.
Come to my December 25th party.
I am really
December
worried.
31st party.
I am really worried about the calendar.
Yeah.
Its days are numbered.
Yes. Where's the drum for that one? Come on now. There we go. So, Rayne, did you do anything special for Independence Day?
I did not. We just kind of hunkered down because I have a cat who is terrified of fireworks and a dog who doesn't care at all about the fireworks and just falls asleep. So, yeah.
Is he deaf?
No, Yanto's not deaf. He's just chill. He's a pug.
Care? Okay.
Pugs are chill.
Right.
They don't really give a crap about stuff like that. As long as they've had food and snuggles, they're happy.
They're happy. Yeah. TikTok, what'd you do for the 4th?
Well, let's see. Actually, as far as dogs go, the current shepherd gets a little nervous around them if it's too much. But as I mentioned in the chat before, I used to have this chow mixed dog that loved fireworks. I could bring him to shows, and
Wow.
and he would just basically he would like crouch down and wait for the foop, and then watch the spark go up in the air, and then pop, and then jump up and down and wag his tail, and it's the best thing
Wow.
ever.
Wow, I've never seen a dog that does that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Usually
I like
they're
that.
either
Yeah.
terrified or they just don't care about them.
Right.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, no. So barely worked my fuzzy butt off over the weekend, and we blew
Mhm.
up all the things in Seaside. So as
Yes.
many of us know, Barely is a licensed pyrotechnician, and this year he invited me to be on his team, and I said, "Hell to the fur, yes." So,
Nice.
And I have to say, you did work your fuzzy butt off. I'll tell you that. I was a little surprised when you left at 2 a.m. in the morning on the 5th after we finished dinner. I thought, well, at least rest until morning. But nope, you're like, I'm gonna get home. I'm a night owl. Here I go.
Oh yeah,
And off you went.
yeah.
It's
No,
like,
it was such an easy drive. There was literally no traffic, and I just
oh yeah,
sailed down the road, and then I got home, and I had my own bath, and my rubber ducky, and
Yes.
my own
Yeah,
bed.
That makes sense.
and having been to TikTok's home, I can see why he'd want to get home. He has a beautiful home.
Oh, thank you, thank you, Rayne. But
Yeah.
yeah,
but also, like, the people still shooting off fireworks on the beach at 2 o'clock in the morning was kind of like, I'm only an hour away from relative peace and comfort.
That's true. They were still shooting out the fireworks at 2 a.m. and I just put earplugs in. I was so exhausted because I only had gotten I don't know, maybe 2 hours of sleep the night before.
Right.
So because my brain just started thinking about everything that could possibly go wrong, and I could not fall asleep. And then the alarm went off, and I was like, "Oh crap!" But everything went off okay, I have to say. And if anybody was in Seaside and saw the show, let me know how you liked it, because I never get any feedback, and I never get to see the show. I am watching the control panel. I'm watching the mortars and everything, make sure things are going. I'm not looking up into the sky, so I never get to see my own show, which is really kind of sad. So
We need to next year. I'll try and come up and I can bring my GoPro Max, and then we can kind of set it next to you so you can see yourself doing the show and the show, because it's 360.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that'd be kind of fun.
So yeah,
Wow,
you could look at both things and see yourself doing the show, plus see what the show looked like at the same time.
All right. Well, and that'd be kind of fun. Woo.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get to the past today. Last week, Misha was my guest host, and we brought up the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven. And we were unsure whether it was a Disney movie or not. He thought it was a Disney movie. I said, I don't think so. And so I researched it out. It's a Don Bluth film, and it was released in 1989. It's an old
Yeah, it is
film.
one of the classic Don Bluths. It's actually probably one of the ones he's best known for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie. Tearjerker.
It is a great movie.
tearjerker,
Yeah.
but a good movie.
Mm-hmm. So, how old were you in 1989?
I was a
Oh.
little youngin'. So I was born in 72, so I was like 15 or something, 14, 15, something like that.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I was a
right.
teenage yote as well.
Yeah.
A bit older than that, but not by much.
I would have been 25 in 1989. So, tells you how old this bear
Right.
is. Tell you right now.
Yeah.
It's like
We're all gray muzzes. We're getting
29,
Yeah,
26.
It's the Gray Muzz podcast tonight.
The Gray Muzz podcast.
Oh, well, we gotta be
straight from the
we
Gray
gotta
Muzz.
be careful. There is actually a Gray Muzz podcast, so we don't want to
Oh.
infringe.
Okay. Oh yeah.
All
Call
right.
the lawyers quick.
Quick, call the lawyers. Well, it's like anything else. If you register the name and nobody else has, too bad, so sad. Now it's mine.
Yes.
If you didn't follow all the things, then I did. So, do you guys have anything for past today from past shows that you remember that you wanted to bring up and make things problematic or not problematic?
No. I mean, I could probably think of something. There was something from last week's, but I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, same boat.
If anybody looked on the BFFT chat the past couple of days. I posted a picture where I think I slaughtered a leprechaun in the back of my
Yes.
ATV. It's like
TikTok and I had a little comments about that.
Right. Yeah. It's
like
way too much talking
I
about.
opened up I opened up the back of it and I was like, oh no. And then when I got home, I had to clean it up, and luckily, so that's marker paint. So marker paint, I think, is water and chalk based as opposed to actual paint. So it actually wiped up. It was dry. It just kind of wiped up out the inside.
Yeah,
of it for the most
I had
part.
thought, looking at the picture, I thought you had busted a Sialoom stick.
No,
Because it was glowing like crazy.
That was neon light, or that was neon green from my helmet. My helmet light was one of those halogen or LED lights. So anyway, I'm going to get to That's Just Stupid.
Are you stupid or something?
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
Man, that's stupid.
So, that's stupid. So, recently in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the sky turned green. Speaking of green. And of course, this was fodder for all sorts of stupid assumptions. From the sun burning out to the earth-changing poles to a sign of the apocalypse and God-hating gays. Has anyone heard of science? Anyone? Come on. Put this stuff on the interwebs. It's like, this is the God-hating gays. No, science explains the phenomenon quite readily in that it's a refraction of light from the sun through the heavy laden clouds that contain very large hailstones. And normally, rain reflects a blue or an orange light when they're very large. Yes, okay. You do, Rayne.
And yes. Now I'm reading this in the notes now too, and I'm realizing that you said the sky turned green, not this guy turned green. I was trying to figure out how this guy turned green.
Yeah, I heard
this guy turned green. Yes. Pardon me while I kiss this guy.
Exactly.
Right? It's like
I was thinking, like, how green was this guy?
Yes. No. The sky turned green.
Gotcha.
So maybe and while it is an uncommon event, it is not God sending wrath upon the earth. Although maybe God should send some wrath down once in a while. All right. There is a tunnel in Alabama called the Bankhead Tunnel. It has a 12-foot clearance. Now, most semi-trucks have a 13-foot clearance, which means the truck is 13 feet, and you can't put a 13-foot truck in a 12-foot hole. Let's make this very, very clear.
You gotta drive fast.
But guess what? Well, guess what happens a lot?
Yes, I've seen this channel.
Yes. The tops of the semis being ripped off because the driver didn't heed the warning signs. And this tunnel has 3 very clear signs and some that actually pop up if you're too big. So the first one is a sign. If you're over height, the sign lights up that says you're over height. Don't go any further. Stop, pull over, take the next exit. And that's about 2 miles away from the tunnel. The second one, which is about a mile away, literal stop signs pop up out of the ground. Lights flash, sirens go off, arrows telling the truck to exit now, last exit, exit now, exit now. And then, of course, about 200 yards from the entrance is a pole with a big metal bar that comes down and tells you this is the clearance. And, of course, it's going to hit the top of the truck. It's going to go bang, 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 and bounce down the side. And if you don't heed all of those, you drive right into the tunnel and it rips the top off your semi-truck. And this just happened recently. I'm telling you what.
It happens all the time. They actually have a webcam there that you can watch trucks slamming into this poor tunnel. Like, yes.
Uh-huh. It's just these are professional drivers on our roads, folks. Be careful of them.
Maybe they need like the force sign where it's like a hologram of Gandalf. You shall not pass.
Not pass, right? It's like, how do you miss all of that stuff? That's insane. I don't know how you miss all that. And finally, a California woman was sentenced to a year imprisonment for embezzlement. But she decided she didn't want to go. So she forged notes from doctors stating she had cancer. Now, the judge allowed her to remain free on bail for almost 2 years before the notes were found out to be forgeries. And since she did this to avoid prison, the judge revoked her bail and stated that the sentence was, quote-unquote, reset, and also tripled it to 3 years. Well, you know what? Cheaters never win.
Well, that case.
Wow.
And That's my news of the stupid for this week.
Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
Taebyn often asks, how do you find these? It's like, it's not hard.
No.
It's not hard.
Look at
Just
the news.
Google
The
stupid
regular news is full of the stupid.
Even the regular news is full of the stupid. You are correct. Still coughing up black powder from 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 the show. Media. Let's talk about what we've been watching. Have you been watching anything TikTok?
Well, yeah. So, as you know, we've talked about this before. We're big RuPaul fans.
Yes.
So RuPaul's been doing Drag Race All Stars, for the past couple months, and this time it's all the queens who've won in the past, and it is
very
freaking
nice.
amazing because there's no like, dead fluff, in the pile here. They're all like top,
No dead fluff.
top professional drag queens that really have their stuff going on. Yeah, it's been really incredible to watch just because they can all perform at such an awesome level. And then plus it's not the war of attrition where they get sent home every week. It's all the same 8, but there's like a different way of grading them, but not worth going into. But yeah, so it's a much more of a lighthearted atmosphere, and whether instead of like trying to just like shove each other in the back kind of thing.
All right. Yeah.
So,
nice.
But yeah,
that's good.
that's been a lot of fun. Let's see. We've been watching the new Queer as Folk. It's draining. I find it draining.
I watched a couple episodes. I find it okay. I haven't gotten past the second or third episode, I think. But I kind of agree with you. It's a little more drama and a little less comedy, whereas the original I thought was more fun.
Right. And it's just it kind of balanced itself out better. And I was actually listening to the Gayish podcast last night on it, and they had some pretty good insight on it as well, although they were a bit more, I guess, positive than me. I mean, I'm willing to, let's see, we're almost towards the end of the episodes that are available. Yeah, I'm willing to give it like one or two more, and then if it doesn't like lighten up or something, I'm done. Although my hubby will be like, he'll watch it to the bitter end no matter what. He loves the original, the remake, and now this remake. So if they make any show that says Queer as Folk, he's bound to watch it.
Speaking of Gayish, we hope to have a collaboration with them at some point in the future, listeners. Good listeners, there we go. There we are.
Mike is busy traveling the world right now.
The globe.
Yes, with he works for Salesforce, and so he's doing a whole bunch of HR type stuff with them. He's doing all their queer stuff, and they've had him traveling on like every week, so they have been super duper busy.
Fair enough. So I've watched a bunch of episodes of The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. Now, when I turned it on, I thought the sign said Skywalker Ranch.
No,
and
different place.
So and the first time it's like, there's a ranch in Utah. I'm like, it's not in Utah. What are they talking about? And then I found out it's Skinwalker, which is a term for like a shapeshifter, is a skinwalker. And so there's supposed to be these paranormal events that happen there. It's supposed to be a hotbed of paranormal and alien activity with all sorts of weird things. It's interesting to watch, but it's also interesting to notice how they find something, and then as they're discussing it, in the course of the discussion, they change their assumption of what the thing is they found.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's what it is. I'm like, wait a minute. So, for example, there's this big mesa on the ranch, and they seem to believe that the people that owned the ranch beforehand were doing secret experiments there, and the government was doing secret experiments there, and that the mesa would open up, and alien craft would fly into the mesa, and the mesa would close up again. And so they said there's tunnels and stuff in there, and so they're doing a horizontal drill, and the drill finds something and it starts forcing it down, and then it starts forcing it up again, and they're not sure what it is, and it's supposed to be sandstone. It could be anything, But of course, they jump to the conclusion that it's a inverted dome in there that's metallic and it's keeping them from drilling forward. I'm like, wait.
No, it's
Wait. Yeah, it's like, yeah, and then so I'm sitting there watching this, and they're like, we have no way of knowing what it is. After they pull the bore out, I says, how about send a camera down that
No.
hole you just
No.
drilled
um
to see what's
Yeah.
down
Sure.
there? I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, I watched the show
So-
and it cracks me up because they have a world-renowned scientist on the case, and he
World
re-
renowned.
he
renowned,
really
yeah.
kind of plays fast and loose with the scientific method.
oh, definitely, yes.
I am world renowned. And actually the title just doesn't sound right. It's just like,
Well,
Yes, the Skinwalker Ranch.
That
Yes.
is the name of the ranch.
Actually, that's the nickname
Yeah,
of the
that's
ranch.
true.
The ranch is called something
Yeah.
else, but I have to say, I mean, it's fascinating to watch the show because it's the whole time they're saying it could be a dome. I'm like, no, it's not a dome. No, it's not. What do you? No, I'm yelling at the TV. That's not what it is. Come on now, folks.
Maybe it's
That's
just a
not
wall.
it.
Maybe it's not a dome. Maybe it's a rock in the path of the drill.
Right.
Well,
So, and here's the thing: this mesa is falling down, and there's rocks falling down all the time. And so they say there's probably underground caves underneath there. You know what? You're probably
They
right.
actually
It's
did find
sandstone.
one. They did find one,
Yeah.
and they went down in it, and it had a bunch of radioactivity in it. So they had to jump out of it really quick.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's like, okay, so maybe the government buried radioactive stuff in there from like
Probably.
Hanford or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
That
like,
happens. I used to work out at
Yeah.
Fort Irwin, and you would not want to dig anywhere around Fort Irwin because you have no idea what kind of chemicals, biologicals,
Whatever,
all
yeah.
that stuff you could run into.
yeah. So
I was just kind of reminded of that, that silly Oak Island show,
Mhm.
The Legend of Oak Island. I had no idea where they're at, but they brought in some professional divers at one point, and basically it's just, it's a sandstone island, that has what's it when the water erodes away the they have them in Florida all the time.
Erosion?
What's that?
erosion.
Yeah, well, erosion, but it's like it the water erodes the calcium, the calcium layer, and then everything drops down.
I know
used
what
to-
you're talking about, but I can't think of it now either.
Yes, but basically,
Okay, listeners, come up with the term and tell us in the chat what that term is. There we go.
But yeah, no. So they
Striation.
no sinkhole,
Striation.
sinkhole,
Sinkholes.
Sinkholes.
Yes.
sinkholes.
Sinkholes.
So it's basically you just have these
Sinkhole. And if a sinkhole happens in May, is it a Cinco de Mayo?
Sinkhole
Yes,
de
it
Mayo.
is.
Yes. Yes.
But only
Sinkhole
makes
de
it-
Mayo. Yes. Only that makes
Oh,
it.
fifth.
or fifth. There we go. Womp womp.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they have these like professional divers / geologists like go diving down, and the crew kept trying to prompt them for like a more juicy answer, and the guys were just like, no, that's a naturally formed hole. And they're like, oh, come on, couldn't have been done by no, sorry.
Could have been done by aliens.
Nope.
Sure, because aliens.
Right.
But what I love those alien shows where they talk about something and then they just throw this totally bizarre thing out there into the ether. It's like, but could it have been aliens? Of course it could have been. Of course it
It
could have been.
kangaroos too, though.
It could have been.
Kangaroos,
It could have been intelligent horses. Who
Mhm.
knows what it could have been?
Barking pineapples.
Like barking pineapples. Yep, there you go. Yep. Rayne, what have you been watching? Anything fun?
Well, I've been
exciting?
continuing on with my YouTube watching obsession. So I have a new favorite channel, Mr. Ballin. It's hosted by
Mr.
Mr. Ballin. It's hosted by a guy named John Allen, better known online as Mr. Ballin. He's a former U.S. Navy SEAL whose content is focused on talking about like true crime cases and other mysteries. And he has a real knack for telling creepy stories without getting too overly dramatic and silly like a lot of the genre tends to be, which is what I love about it, because it's like he just tells a story, and he's got a good way of telling the story without like leaning one way or the other into like silly or too skeptical. So
Mhm.
I mean, he lends it to the audience to try and decide what it is. And
Nice.
so I mean, to paraphrase Mr. Ballin's intro, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, go check out his channel, because that's what he does.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. every once in a while, my hubby sends me a link to some little YouTube channel called Stage Props or Hollywood Props or something like that. The prop
Hmm.
guy, and he talks about various Hollywood props. But he is just from the time he gets on camera to the time he's done, it's just one bad joke after another, and I love him. I absolutely love it. So, and he talks about Hollywood props and how they're not real items for the most part. 99% of the time, they're fake items. They're made to look like real items. The funny thing that I found, the one thing I found really interesting was continuity. So, continuity for a show or or video or a movie, they have multiple takes. And so the scene has to look the same in each take. A lot of times they'll break for lunch and they'll come in and clean up the set and then put everything back for the when they come back later, or they decide, oh, we need to do this scene again, so I have to reset everything. So the thing that I thought was fascinating was they use the infrared markers a lot of times that you get for stuff like that, and they circle things or write what things are and where they're supposed to be, and put a line on it, and they use a little blue light, and you can put everything in the exact
Oh,
same
neat.
spot again with no issues whatsoever. I thought that was
Yeah,
really
before
kinda
that
cool.
they used to
Cool.
use little tiny like the little garage sale dots and put them all over the place back in the old
Okay.
days.
Yes.
Because I'm an old
Yeah.
film buff.
Old film schooler.
Yeah,
Old
old
film
school
buff.
film buff. So yeah, I've seen how they do the older movies and stuff where before they had the UV markers and stuff, and yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
crazy.
Super
They
cool.
would have little dots on everything that corresponded with where you're gonna put, this vase,
Mhm.
and then this thing has to go next to that thing, and they have to be turned exactly this direction.
Right.
Mhm.
I always love the lower budget movies where
Things jump around.
somebody's
Hmm.
things jump
Um,
around from cut to cut, or the glass has got this much fluid in it,
I
then a little
I
bit
have to load
less, then a
up
little bit more
again.
again, then halfway down. It's like each cut, like the wine glass has got more or less wine in it. It's like, wait a minute, what's
Yeah,
going
we
on
were
there?
watching one of the old Bond movies. I think the second Sean Connery Bond movie the other day, and in this one scene, this lady lets another lady into the secret lair, basically, or their little safe house, and she closes the door. She turns around, and the lady she just lets in is down the stairs, already standing at the in the room. She didn't even go by her, but she's down there, and I'm like, this was a big budget movie, but they let something like that go.
Yeah, she got teleported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like boop.
Yeah,
Well, what's even worse is you watch a movie like that, and they're standing at the bottom of the stairs, and they turn to talk to them, and they're at the
Yeah.
top of the stairs again, and then they're at the bottom of the stairs. Like, wait a minute, no, folks, you totally lost this. And how did that get past
Yeah.
editing? That's what I
Yeah.
want to know. How did they get past post production?
Uh,
It's like,
I
oh,
think a
wait
lot of
minute.
times they don't think people are paying as much attention as we really are a lot of times.
yeah.
Yeah.
I recall reading for the movie Casino, Robert De Niro, his character Ace Rothstein, who's a chain
Hmm.
smoker, and he got around the cigarette, length increasing and decreasing magically.
Hmm.
That's why he used a cigarette holder. So
Mm.
that way he could basically kind of push his fingers up and down up and down the holder, so it kind of it had like a consistent length, from
Ah,
take to take. Yeah.
huh, how about that? All right, let's get to furries in the news. I know that neither one of you want to do the Taebyn thing, so
I'll
we're
do I'll
just gonna.
do a
You
song.
want to like go back and forth or?
Oh, we could do
Oh
that.
God,
You could do
okay.
that
The-
too.
Okay, I'm gonna let you two guys go.
Okay,
Go for it.
I'll
Go for
start,
it.
and then you do the next word. Furries.
In
The
new.
Bop. Taebyn does, so I mean, I figured we
You gotta
had
put the
to.
bop in at the end. I love it. I know. That's that's how he always ends it. That's why I know he's done with it. But sometimes he's like 5 minutes in. I'm like, oh my god,
We don't have
he's
enough
finished
music to
already.
bed
It's like,
this.
That's right. Sometimes I have to like take out the the repeat part and just put it in over and over and over again. So, Rayne, you came up with this story, so tell us all about it.
Okay, so Duquesne University has they're in Pittsburgh because Anthrocon just happened last weekend or the weekend before. Time is weird.
Yes, time is weird.
But anyways,
It's a concept.
Duquesne University delves into the psychology of being a furry. So despite many Pittsburghers being excited to see furries return,
What's a Pittsburgher?
Pittsburgher are people who live in Pittsburgh, or it's the kind of burger you get in
Mustard and
Pittsburgh. I'm
pickles.
not sure which, but
Okay.
it doesn't say.
Okay.
But anyways, they're happy to see the furries return, especially since the event has long supported hotels, restaurants in the area, and has plugged tens of millions of dollars into the economy over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But some onlookers couldn't help but be a little baffled at the sea of colorful costumes that flowed past them during the parade. So Elizabeth Fine, who I found out actually also contributes to Fur Science, is a clinical psychologist in the chair of the Department of Psychology at Duquesne University, spent the last 15 years studying people who dress as furries, and she attempted to give more insight on the commonly misunderstood community. Ms. Fine explained how, just like fans of any other endeavors, there is a method to the madness. If you look at the psychology of it, when furries put on their fur, they are no different than any other fans, including an anime fan cosplaying their favorite character or a football fan putting on a jersey of their favorite player.
Well,
now, it's not everybody.
It's not. I don't think that's truly accurate.
Well, but she goes on to explain that the fandom has become a safe haven for many people who are on the autism spectrum, who comprise about 5 to 15% of the community, which is much higher than the 2% in the general population. She says the suits are very comforting for many people on the spectrum who feel less pressure to do subtle nonverbal facial and body language when in suit. It blocks out many of the overwhelming sensory inputs, she said. She says these findings are really exciting to her, as most of the research done on autism has looked at the struggles. Furries allow us to look at situations where people on the spectrum are rather thriving, happy, and having fun. So it's a really good article. Barely will post it in the show notes later on so that anybody can read it in depth, because it goes a lot further in and interviews quite a few furs with their take on what being a furry means to them.
And she's contributed to Fur Science, but she's not part of the Fur Science.
I think she's kind of like part of them, but like I'm not 100% sure. I delved into their website a little bit and found a couple of articles from her.
She's like Fur Science, Fur Science adjacent.
Maybe she's like a
contributing, something like that.
Or Professor Emeritus for Fur Science or something like that.
Yeah, but it's a really good article. I skimmed through a lot of it, and I don't 100% agree with her findings, because I mean, there are some of us furries who it's a little bit more than just a hobby. Right. Well, and she does go into that too. I thought it was a good article.
And by the way, furs, when you see the word Duquesne, it's actually spelled Duquesne.
Yes,
but it's pronounced Duquesne. It's got to be French.
I'm guessing.
Duquesne. And if Taebyn was here right now, he'd say something about fromage.
La fromage de
la moucou. So like, yes. Like I said, like Rayne said, I'll post it in the show notes. People can follow the article, read it for themselves, and move along from there. So upcoming events. So the first thing I want to first thing I want to push is it's way in the future, but it's a local event. It's the Get Out the Float in Seaside, Oregon on October 27th through the 30th. I think TickTock, you might be there. I don't know.
Yeah, very possibly.
Yep. I know Rayne and Orville are going. Me and Taebyn are going. So we're gonna have.
And Taebyn has pushed me to DJ at the event. So I talked to the chair, and he was like, "Heck yeah!" And we talked for like an hour and had a really good time. And nice fur. Yeah. Really fun to talk to. I'm gonna DJ for the first time at a Furcon.
It's funny to listen to him talk. He says, "This started as an event. I think I accidentally created a con." So
yeah, I think that's think this was going to happen. I mean, he's joking about how few registrants they've got so far, but
It's.
I mean, this is still pretty
I
far
mean,
out. People don't often, schedule stuff really far
is it
out.
going to be like one of those high school parties, like, where you thought you were just inviting a couple friends over when your parents are gone for the weekend, and then all of a sudden, like, the entire
The Tri-County shows up at your
right,
house.
yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of that, I have a friend that runs a construction company, and they decided to have a little an 90s based barbecue for the 4th of July weekend for their employees and their employees' families and friends. Well, at one point, the RSVP list hit 270.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
So they moved it from their quote unquote office to a large field that somebody had access to at a house outside of Lyons. At final count, they had over 400 people there
Oh
for
goodness.
this party.
Oh my cow.
So that's crazy.
That's a lot of kegs.
That's
That
a lot of
is.
kegs. They
A lot of hamburgers too.
well, and it was 90s themed, so their charcuterie was, are you ready? Lunchables. So they they
nice.
bought out all the Lunchables in like every grocery store in the Salem Staten area.
No wonder I couldn't find any
Well,
That's
damn it.
Lunchables.
right. Yeah, it's like, and
Where's my snack?
but yeah. So that was one of the things, like little pizza pockets and all other kind of stuff.
Nice.
So anyway, upcoming events. We talked about the Get Out the Float. So in next weekend is July 20th through 24th. We have the East 2022 FurCon in the Ringberg Hotel in Sewell, Germany.
At least that's a German word you can pronounce.
Exactly, that's a German
Yeah.
word I can pronounce. Yeah. Then we have that same weekend, but one day after. So it starts the 21st through 25th instead of the 20th through 24th, is the Big Sky Camp Paw 2022 in Montana, in Fales Flat Campground in Fales Flat, Montana. Why would they name a town Fales Flat? I don't know. But anyway, then that again, that same weekend is London Furs Summer Weekend 2022.
London furs are falling down,
Falling down.
falling down.
And it's at the, are you ready for this? The Jewel of London / Tank and Paddle Minister Court. Now, I want to know what the Paddle Minister is all about and why that's a thing in London. Like,
Let's.
I'll show you off, Paul.
okay. It's the Paddle Minister. I am the paddle. I'm going to make that my.
I'm the paddle
I'm going to
minister.
make that my grinder profile now. Paddle
the
Minister.
Paddle minister.
Or maybe he just paddles the tanks.
Paddles the tanks. Yeah.
Yeah,
tank
you have like
paddles.
an M1 Abrams there, and he just like goes at it
Spanks
with
them.
Yeah, spanks the tanks.
Spank the tank. It's a
Kinky.
tank spank or a spank tank. No, a spank. No, moving along. The same weekend in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, is the Aurora. I think that's how it's pronounced. AURAWRA. Aurora. Aurora.
Sure.
Aurora.
Aurora.
I don't know.
I read it Aurora.
Aurora. Okay. Aurora. Doodah. And that's in the Novotel Sydney Olympic Park in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. And then Canference. Guess where that's going to be, everybody? It's going to be in Canada because it's Canference.
Oh, I guess
Yep,
wrong.
July 29th through the 31st at the Delta Hotels by Marriott in Ottawa City Centre in Ottawa, Ontario. And there is upcoming events for the going through the end of July.
Nice.
I don't know of any others that are coming up, but if you have someone you want us to share them on the show, please get them to us and we shall share them on the show. Also, listeners, if you have birthdays coming up, get me birthday names and I will read them on the air.
Oh,
I think we all have birthdays coming
I
up.
do.
Well, eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually,
Yeah.
yes. Well,
this
each
weekend.
month.
Oh,
Oh, it's your birthday this
Oh,
weekend?
is it you?
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday,
Happy
TickTock.
birthday
There
early.
you go.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you. Another hatch
Gonna
day
be
down.
16. You're gonna be 16 days,
Mhm.
16 years old again.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Just
Well, Orville is only 21 because that's when the last birthday that he has on record is.
Oh,
So there's no photographic evidence of any of his birthdays after that. So
really?
21.
Huh.
I think that's a great way to do it.
Of course. Okay.
All cameras banned at the party or something?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Ah.
interesting.
Yes, indeed, indeed. All right. So normally Taebyn would read a story, and I have tried to get him to read this story for several years, actually, even up to and including at FurCons, and he never has. And so I'm going to read it today. It's called The Princes, not the princess, but The Princes and the Treasure. Once upon a time, there was a magical kingdom named Evergreen. The ruler of Evergreen was King Rufus. He was a stern king who was always shouting orders. Silly rabbit. Mean king. King Rufus had a beautiful daughter named Princess Elena. The princess always honored and obeyed her father until one day, when she and the king took a walk in the park. "It's time you found a husband," said the king. "But I'm not ready for a husband," cried the princess. Suddenly, an old woman whisked away the princess in a carriage. I don't know how you whisk somebody away suddenly. And suddenly.
Isn't that kidnapping?
Yes.
Yeah. And where are the king's guards?
Right? There are none. "Stop!" yelled the King Rufus. "Bring back my daughter." But the carriage was already out of sight. Yes, where's the king's guards? Right. The king was heartsick that his beautiful daughter was missing. He called all the townspeople together and made a big announcement. "Whoever saves the Princess Elena may marry her," declared the king. Well, in the town of Evergreen, there was the strongest man, and his name was Gallant. His name was Gallant. He loved to compete, and he won every challenge. He was a handsome and dashing and most desired man in town. Many people tried to attract his attention, but no one succeeded. "I'll save the princess," boasted Gallant. You know, I was trying to attract the attention of my husband the other day, and I thought the best way to do it was just to sit down and get comfortable, and immediately he asked me to do something. So, in a nearby village,
That does it.
lived a young man named Ernest. He was quiet and shy and preferred happy endings. I read that as
Who doesn't?
is.
Who
That's
doesn't?
written that way. Who does not prefer a happy ending?
Well,
Right?
he was earnest about it.
He was earnest. He loved a great adventure, but only those in books. Aw. "Why don't you stop reading and go help the princess?" said Ernest's mother. "But I can't save the princess," said Ernest. "Yes, you can. Now go."
No.
So Ernest sadly left his cozy little cottage, and he went to save the princess. Ernest followed the trail of the carriage to a dark tower. A dark tower.
The
Ooh.
Dark Tower.
Always a dark
It was a
tower.
dark tower. A strong young man was already there. "I'm Gallant," said the young man. "Who are you?" I'm Ernest," said Ernest softly.
Earnestly.
The old woman suddenly appeared. The suddenly appeared old woman. "Release the princess," demanded Gallant. You may take the princess if you bring me the greatest treasure in the land." I sound like Kermit the Frog. Said the old woman. "You must bring me the earth, the wind, the sun, and the moon, and the stars." Then the old woman vanished.
She doesn't want
much, no at all.
Does that fit in a shopping cart, or I mean?
Yes, your
Costco.
Amazon shopping cart. It fits in the Amazon shopping cart
Yeah,
just
that's
fine.
true.
yes.
That's true. Yeah.
"How do we find the greatest treasure in the land?" wondered Gallant. Let's ask the Oracle," said Ernest. She's very wise, and she'll know what to do." Ernest isn't very strong. Oh, sorry. Ernest isn't very strong, thought Gallant to himself, but he's smart. I'd better keep an eye on him. Gallant and Ernest ran to the temple of the Oracle. "What is the greatest treasure in the land?" asked Gallant. "You must go on a dangerous quest to find the treasure," said the Oracle. said the Oracle. "The earth is the ring in the mine. The wind is the pearl in the shell. Wow. The sun is the diamond in the shrine. The moon is the opal in the cave. The stars are the stars on the urn at the what? No wait, the stars are on the urn at the top of the big mountain. I don't know why the oracle sounds like that, but that's the way she says.
That's a lot of
Gallant. That's a lot of joy. Gallant ran to the mine ahead of Ernest. A huge grizzly bear blocked the entrance. Well, now it's furry centric. Gallant fought the bear with all his might, but he wasn't strong enough, and Gallant had to run away without the ring.
Did the bear chase him?
It doesn't say. I think it just growled at him. but bears like honey, thought Ernest. I'll find a beehive and get some honey for the bear. Now he's got a southern accent, apparently. So,
Yeah, now he sounds like Ernest goes to
it's
camp.
like, hey, Earl. Like, Ernest tried to scoop some honey out of the hive, but bees flew out of the hive and stung him. Well, duh, of course.
I thought he was supposed to be smart.
Well, apparently not. Ernest made some grass smoke.
Book smart.
He made some grass smoke. Wow, imagine that. He must live in
Must be in
must
Oregon.
be in Oregon or a state where that's legal. Yes. And it calmed the bees and the bear. Well, look at that. He grabbed some honeycomb and set it near the mine. The bear smelled the honeycomb and went to get the honey. Ernest ran into the mine and grabbed the ring. I did it, cried Ernest. I can't believe the bookworm got the ring, thought Gallant. Now Gallant swam down to the shoal, but a huge octopus guarded the shell. Gallant tried to swim past the octopus, but the octopus grabbed him. Gallant twisted out of his strong arms, and was able to get the pearl. I beat you this time, Ernest, thought Gallant. Beat him for the happy endings, yes. Gallant and Ernest ran to the shrine. A huge snake sat wrapped around the diamond. Gallant started to fight the snake, but changed his mind and ran away. I'm afraid of snakes, admitted Gallant. Ernest went into the woods and found a mongoose, because, just find one in the woods. They're all over the place.
They're all over the place.
He set the mongoose by the shrine, and the mongoose chased the snake away. It worked, thought Ernest. Now I've got the ring and the diamond. Haha. Gallant and Ernest walked to the cave to get the opal, but a giant wolf guarded the entrance. Entrance. One of us will have to run near the wolf, so the wolf chases him," said Ernest. "I'm good at Oh, wait a minute. Let's start again. One of us will have to run near the wolf, so the wolf chases him," says Gallant. "I'm good at I'm good at hiding," said Ernest. I'm surprised. I'll run by the wolf, then I'll hide when he chases me." The wolf chased Ernest, and Gallant grabbed the opal. "You were great," said Gallant, admiring Ernest. After a long search, Ernest and Gallant found the big mountain where the urn with the stars was hidden. "Race you to the top," shouted Gallant as he ran up this mountain. "Well, there's no way I can run up there," thought Ernest. Ernest found a goat and rode it up to the mountain. He got to the top before Gallant. Oh.
He rode a goat.
Rode a goat. Yes. At least he didn't rope the goat. Ernest wasn't able to pick up the urn. Imagine that. "Let me try," said Gallant, but he couldn't lift it either. We have to do it together," said Ernest, smiling at Gallant. Aww, they're flirting.
Aww.
Ernest and Gallant both grabbed a handle and lifted the urn. "The oracle was wrong." Oh, I'm sorry. The oracle was wrong," said Ernest. "I know," replied Gallant. "The greatest treasure in the land is finding each other," they both shouted.
Oh, really?
Yes. Gallant and Ernest went back to the Dark Tower. "Did you bring what I asked?" Oh, so it's the old woman. "Did you bring what I asked?" shrieked the old woman. "Yes," they both said. "We brought you the greatest treasure in the land." Ernest and Gallant looked at each other. Gallant said, "Ernest is my earth, my wind, my sun, my moon, and my stars."
Damn.
Ernest said, "Gallant is my earth, my wind, my sun, my moon, and my stars." My stars.
Oh, my
stars. Upon
Bromance.
hearing the news, the old woman transformed into a beautiful enchantress. "True love is the greatest treasure of all," said the enchantress. In my mind, her voice is Linda the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz. "True love is the greatest treasure of all," said the enchantress. "You are not finding each other on your own, so I created this quest to bring you two together. The doors of the tower opened and Princess Elena emerged. You're free, cried Ernest and Gallant. I was not a prisoner, said the princess. I sound a lot like that. I made a wish that I wouldn't have to marry a prince, and the enchantress made my wish come true. We're so glad you're safe and sound, said Gallant. Well, at that point, Ernest, Gallant, and the Princess Elena went to see King Rufus. Ernest and Gallant, your strength and bravery shall be rewarded, said the king. I name you Prince Gallant. I name you Prince Ernest. Which one of you will marry the princess? We don't want to marry the princess, admitted Ernest. We want to marry each other. Well, Ernest and Gallant invited all their family and friends to their wedding. I now pronounce you married, said the vicar. Marriage. May you, let's do it that way. I now pronounce you married, said the vicar. May you love each other forever. Oh, Ernest has never looked happier, sighed Ernest's mother. King Rufus was pleased his daughter was happy and safe. He gave Ernest and Gallant a big bag of gold and lots of land. The two princes worked very hard and built a castle of their own. In the main room of their castle, Gallant and Ernest built a huge fireplace. They put the ring, the pearl, the diamond, the opal, and the urn on its great mantle. These remind me that we had to work together to find each other, said Gallant. They remind me that you are my earth, my wind, my sun, my moon, and my stars, said Ernest, with smiling at Gallant. And you are my earth, my wind, my sun, my moon, and my stars, said Gallant, smiling at Ernest. Ernest and Gallant stood in front of their new home and admired all their hard work. What a beautiful castle. Oh, sorry. What a beautiful castle, said Ernest. We're going to be very happy here, said Gallant. Yes, we are, sighed Ernest. And the two princes lived happily ever after. The end.
And Ernest got his happy ending.
And Ernest got his happy ending, probably several times.
Nightly.
Yes. No, they were a prince, not a knight.
That's right. They weren't
like,
knights. Never mind.
So like I said, once a king, always a king, but once a knight can be too much.
Boom.
So, should we tell some jokes? Not that we haven't been telling jokes all night, but
yeah.
All right.
Sure.
What you got?
Let's see.
Show me what you've got.
Notes here.
Okay.
Oh, so a little plug too. We get. I finally did the challenge that Barely made us do.
Yes.
Yeah, that should have been passed today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Why can't I never? So I finally did the burlesque dance, and it should be available on my Twitter, and then Barely probably put it on his YouTube, and then we'll
put it on the YouTube for the podcast.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
So
should also be on Telegram. I think you
yes,
did
I
post
put it on
as well.
Telegram,
Yes.
and many thanks to Rayne for his assistance with that. So
you're quite welcome.
okay, so 4 guys are at a high school reunion, and one of them goes to the restroom. The other 3 guys start talking about how successful their sons are. Guy 1, my son is so successful, he owns a car dealership, and he just gave his best friend a Ferrari. Number 2, that's nothing. My son owns an airliner and just gave his best friend a private jet. Yeah. Guy 3, well, my son has more success than that. He owns an architecture firm, and he just gave his best friend a castle. All
Wow.
right. And so the 4th guy walks out of the bathroom and walks over to the other 3 guys. And guy first. So he says, hey, guys, what are you talking about? He says, oh, we were just talking about how successful our sons are. He says, well, my son is a gay stripper. And one of them says, well, you must be so disappointed that that's what he's done with his life. He says, no, not really. He's doing very well for himself. He just got a Ferrari, a jet, and a castle from his 3 boyfriends.
Nice.
Mhm,
Nice.
mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of planes, I'm going to start making a video documentary about how to fly a plane. Right now, we're filming the pilot.
Good plan.
Yes. So after an unsuccessful harvest, why did the farmer decide to try a career in music?
I don't know. Why did he try to serve a music career?
Because he had a ton of sick beats.
Mm-hmm.
And boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Boots and what is it? Boots and what? Boots and pants?
Boots and pants.
Okay.
Boots.
Okay.
So
It's the standard disco beat.
Yeah.
So what are the 3 steps to put a elephant in a refrigerator?
I don't know.
Wow.
Open the door, put the elephant in, and close the door.
Okay.
What are the 4 steps to putting a giraffe in the refrigerator?
Open the door, take out the elephant, put in the giraffe, and close the door.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right. There you go.
Aha.
A thief
Oh.
broke into my house last night looking for money. I got out of bed and helped him look.
So this morning, Siri said, "Don't call me Shirley." I accidentally left my phone in airplane mode.
Oh. Oh. Jeez. Oh, jeez.
So a gorilla dies of old age at a zoo right before the zoo opens. And it is the only gorilla at the zoo since they are not very profitable. Kind of strange zoo. However, the gorilla was the most popular attraction by far, and they couldn't afford to go a day without the gorilla because it was more money. So the zoo owner asked one of his workers to wear a gorilla suit all day, so they have until they have like the money to get a new gorilla. And then so he has to just go in the gorilla cage and just pretend to be a gorilla and do the thing. So suddenly the new gorilla, quote unquote, becomes the most popular attraction at the zoo. People from all over are coming to see this gorilla with these human-like habits. And time goes by, about a month or so, people started they're kind of over it. So to get people's attention back, they decided to put the gorilla man in the lion enclosure and like a net hanging over, but the net breaks and he falls into the lion enclosure and he starts screaming, help, help, help. And then a lion comes out of nowhere and pounces on him and whispers into his ear, shut up or you're going to get us both fired.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you got more jokes there, Rayne? Okay.
Yeah. So if a pig loses its voice, does it become disgruntled?
Oh. We all know that New York is the Big Apple, but does anyone know where the Mini Apple is?
Minneapolis?
Minneapolis.
Yeah, the Minneapolis. Yes, the Minneapolis.
Too
I'm
easy.
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize for all these jokes already.
I apologize for nothing.
Nothing.
Your turn, TickTock.
Let's see. That was all the mild ones I could find for today. I have more jokes, but probably not suitable for this podcast.
That's all right. That's all right. A lumberjack went into a magical forest and started to swing his axe. The tree said, wait, I'm a talking tree. To which the
I
lumberjack,
told this joke 2 weeks
did
ago.
you?
Yes.
To which the lumberjack said, "You will dialogue." When did you tell that joke? I'm sorry.
2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago. All right. All right. Well, yeah. So you stole it. I stole a joke. You stole a joke. Luck stole a joke from me. There you go.
We're all joke thieves.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you go interneting and web searching for these, bad jokes that are, no more than PG, you tend to see the same ones over and over.
Yeah.
So I asked my husband if I was the only one he slept with. He said, yes, the others were 7s and 8s.
He was the only one he slept with, yes. When I was a wee cub, I tried to read Stephen King's epic novel, It. I couldn't follow it because there were too many main characters in it.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. So someone complimented my parking today.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
They left a really sweet note on my windshield that said parking fine.
Oh, right. I have no more jokes. I think that's time where we end, unless you have one more, Rayne, if you want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I built a model of Mount Everest, and my husband asked if it was to scale. I said, no, it's to look at.
Oh, wow. Wow. I sound like
something.
Christopher Walken.
Travolta.
Christopher
Walken, yes.
Wow, those are some interesting knockers you have. It's like, remember, you can hang your clothes in me. I'm Christopher Walken Closet. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Frankenstein. Frankenstein never scared me. Marmosets do, because they're fast. Anyway, that was really bad.
Anyway,
and Hemingway.
Ernest.
Did you guys? Ernest, with Ernest, yes.
Ernest.
Call back.
Ernest.
Ernest, how you doing? Did you guys ever watch MASH, the television show or the movie?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I watched both.
Okay.
Several times.
So I have this edition of trivia, MASH trivia.
Ooh.
Okay. And these are some deep trivia questions. So I'm going to run some of these by you to see if you can get them. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's been a while. Is this based on the show or the movie or both, or you won't tell us?
It's based on the show.
Okay.
So, yeah. Based on the popular television. Yeah, there's a picture of the characters right there.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
The answer is Hot Lips.
Hot Lips.
Hot Lips.
The answer is always Hot Lips.
Hot Lips is the best answer to every question.
What instrument did Winchester play so badly that it drove everyone crazy? Okay, Rayne?
I know. Violin.
That would be incorrect.
I thought it was a trumpet.
You are close. It's the French horn.
That's
because they took it out and made them, and they ran it over, and then they also BJ and Hawkeye were not bathing until he stopped playing the horn. I remember that episode. Okay. Against the wishes of Hawkeye and BJ, Radar visits a tattoo parlor and gets what tattoo?
Ooh.
I don't remember this one.
Wasn't it a heart?
It was his teddy bear.
Oh.
What is the title of Colonel Sherman Potter's favorite Western movie?
Oh gosh,
I should know
Gunsmoke.
this.
It's My Darling Clementine.
Yeah, that's an old movie too.
Mm-hmm. When the film breaks during the showing of Colonel Potter's favorite movie, what member of MASH do people impersonate?
Father.
I know this one. Father
yep.
Mulcahy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Radar goes, jocularity.
Jocularity.
Yes.
I see the man Mulcahy.
And after that, what movie star does Radar impersonate when the film breaks?
Ooh.
I don't remember.
Radar impersonated?
Yep.
Uh,
It was John Wayne.
And
a throwback to that tattoo where did he get it? Where did Radar?
I think
it was
on his backside.
On his tushy. Yep. Okay. When Colonel Potter was away, his horse became ill. What was wrong with her?
If I remember right, she had colic.
You are correct. She had
Ooh,
colic.
nice one. Nice.
Yes. Circle gets the square.
I grew up on a horse ranch, and that's like the number one thing that horses get sick with is colic.
So even if you'd never seen the show, you just would have said colic.
I had about a 90% chance of getting that one right.
Okay. What did Frank Burns knock down after learning that Margaret was engaged to Donald Penobscot?
Ming vase.
Burst through the doors of the mess tent, taking them off their hinges.
Hmm.
How did Hawkeye and the others discover who was sending bad reports about Colonel Potter to headquarters?
Wait, what was the question again?
So there was an episode where there was bad reports going into HQ about Colonel Potter's leadership, and Hawkeye and others discovered who was sending the bad reports about Colonel Potter. How did they do that?
Weren't they like one of them got really chummy with Frank and got him to spill?
I Taebyn the mic. Actually, they just went through the outgoing mail.
Oh.
Okay, let's see here. Let's get another one. One more. A wounded
Man,
GI
sticking
from
it up.
Toledo. I know. A wounded GI from Toledo gives Klinger a matchbook from which of Klinger's favorite hangouts?
Oh,
Wow.
good grief.
I
I remember this episode, but I don't remember what the hangout was.
The Trianon Ballroom.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would have never gotten that.
No, I think I would have
When-
gotten that in high school.
Okay, here's the final question. When Radar left MASH, to whom did he give his final salute?
Wasn't it Pierce?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
It's Hawkeye Pierce.
I thought so, yeah, because I remember he was taking it really hard.
It was quite the little tearjerker.
Yeah.
Quite the little tearjerker.
Well, yeah.
And then there was
That
Aftermath.
whole series had,
Oh
which
yeah,
was terrible.
Aftermath was awful. Oh god,
Yeah.
it was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's crazy because the series was so fantastic and had so many funny and like dramatic and tear-jerking moments, and then they tried Aftermath and it
like,
was
womp
so
womp.
bad.
Yeah. So last year I rewatched all of the MASH series, and I went all the way, and I still have not rewatched the final episode.
Oof, it's hard.
The 2-hour final episode, because I remember when I watched it and I was in high school, I cried my eyes out.
Oh yeah.
And
I've watched
yeah.
it 3 times and every time I've cried my
I
eyes out.
can't-
It's like Old Yeller. You can't watch it and not cry.
I know. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I've gone on to other things because I cannot watch that last episode.
Well, it's such a hard episode because you're dealing with some mental health issues.
Yep.
You're dealing
PTSD.
with PTSD. You're dealing with a horrific thing happening that causes one of the main characters to just snap.
Yep.
It's a really tough episode to watch.
Yeah, that was only the second episode though where they actually had prisoners of war in their camp.
Mm-hmm.
There's an implication that they have a holding area for POWs, but they really only talk about it in 2 episodes. One, back when Frank Burns was there, he captured some people.
The musicians.
The musicians were what happened on
funny.
that final episode.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Frank captured a couple others, and then there was also that one episode where the crazy guy, where Klinger said the guy was too crazy. He says, "You're crazier than me," and he captured the invisible glider pilot. I remember that one. So
Yeah, didn't he have like the sock character or something?
yes, the sock
Yeah.
character. Yes, made $1 million after he got home being
Oh,
discharged.
that's right. He was selling this sock character.
Started to sell characters. Yep. Well, Fur's here in the studio and out there in the Podiverse. I think it's time that we should bring this podcast to an end. We're over an hour. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us for a while. We loved having you here. Taebyn will be back again next week. Of course, I said that last week, and he's not here. So hopefully, Taebyn will be back after a 2-week.
I hope he's not lost. Was he wearing his collar when he left?
He was going to what he called the magical happy place, where he likes to run free with no collar. So
Oh no.
it's
Oh, no.
possible
He
that
may be in the pound.
he may
We
be
should start
in
calling the pound.
Yeah.
We should call the pound. Yeah.
Does anybody have a big blue and white puppy?
Yes.
We need him back.
We need him back. Please send him back our way. Remember to support the show in any way you can. Don't forget about Road.co campaign. going on through the end of July, so you only have a couple of weeks left.
And it's good stuff.
Good stuff.
It really works.
It really works. Enter BFFT at your checkout for 25% off your entire purchase. Like we said, only ends till the end of July. And we have merch on Redbubble and still on Bonfire. I don't know if you're going to get things that aren't broken on Bonfire, but
order from Redbubble if you want it in one piece. If you like multiple pieces, like if you like a coffee cup puzzle, Bonfire is the place to go because they've sent me 3 of them.
Well, but you finally got one that arrived intact.
I did, but it's crooked.
Oh.
The logo is crooked.
Okay, then.
Not bad, but I looked at it with a critical eye.
Could you break it and put it back together and make it straight?
If I had saved maybe the other pieces, I could have maybe done
one
something.
good one with all of the pieces.
One good one out of all of the pieces.
Share this podcast with your friends, neighbors, relatives, or enemies. Anyone that wants you there. And with that, I'm going to say moo bark fluff, stay furry. Furs, gentlemen, say your goodbyes.
Bye, TickTock.
You can go first, TickTock. All right, bye, TickTock. First, thank you for listening. We love you. Stay furry, moo bark fluff.
And hallay. Hallay.
And hallay.
Hallay.
Bye, guys.
Or gablay. Gablay.
Gablay.
Because it's the end of the show. It's gablay.
It's gablay.
Barely Furcasting is an Injured Nerve studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at barelyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded and directed by Barely Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by Barely and our associate editor Rayne Raccoon. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by Reg Day with Damian Tanuki. If you would like to hear more music by Reg Day, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com, Gator Tots on soundcloud.com, and the YouTube Free is Library. Social media presences is maintained by Ziggy the Mean Weasel. Transformation Station is written and directed by Lux Operon with Rayne Raccoon and is edited by Rayne Raccoon. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at barelyfurcasting@gmail.com or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the barelyfurcasting.com webpage. You can help support the show through donations at ko-fi.com/barelyfurcasting or through Patreon at patreon.com/barelyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.